triple-double machines. Who would you fit under that title this season? Maybe Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, maybe even Bobby Portis. I'm just playing. But would you fit Domantas Sabonis under that title? If you had to think about your answer right there, the NBA has failed you. Because Sabonis leads the league with 26 triple-doubles this season, and it's garnered essentially no attention. To be ahead of guys like Jokic and Luka is an accomplishment in itself, but in reality, it's even better than that. Sabonis's 26 triple-doubles this season would rank as the 7th most in NBA history, with the likes of Westbrook, Oscar, Wilt, and Jokic. It's one of the greatest all-around offensive seasons ever. Yet the recognition he's gotten for his accomplishment is non-existent. No major headlines, no MVP conversation, he wasn't even an all-star. It's time we give this man his flowers. I got a question for you. Which of these numbers is Stephen Curry's free throw percentage this season? I'll give you a second to think. It's this one, 92.3%. But what about this 94.6% mark? Those are Domantas Sabonis' chances of recording a double-double this season. He's more likely to pull that off than Steph Curry is to make a free throw. It's an insane stat, but there's more to it. Domantas is currently on a streak of 59 double-doubles in a row. How good is that? It's the 10th longest streak in NBA history. Sabonis is out here breaking records that haven't been touched in over half a century. Like, are we the problem here? I mean, are we ignoring history right before our eyes because Sabonis isn't flashy, high-flying, or simply because he plays in Sacramento? I'd bet you that if this were Jason Tatum or Anthony Edwards, you wouldn't be able to go 5 minutes without hearing the incredible numbers that they're putting up. But unfortunately, that's just how the NBA works. Sabonis isn't a rising star. He's playing in Sacramento and his team is fighting to stay out of the play-in. I mean, you'd think that his numbers would be enough to create at least a little bit of buzz around his name. 19, 13, and 8 is historical. Wilt has been the only other player to put up numbers like this. But in this season, it wasn't even enough to be an all-star. Sabonis was robbed, but is it the worst ever? These are 25 of the biggest all-star snubs in NBA history relative to their player efficiency rating and their production during that season. All the way up there is a prime Kareem in 1978 who finished 4th in MVP voting. But he wasn't an all-star. Here's the greatest player in NBA history, there's De'Aaron Fox who missed the cut this year, and here's his teammate Domantas Sabonis this season. It is one of the worst all-star snubs of the last 50 years. And it isn't his first time either. But bad luck is playing a part in this. It's extremely unlucky that Sabonis' career lines up with Nikola Jokic's time in the NBA, who shares the same skills as him and is simply just better. But let's say Jokic never developed into the player that he is and ends up becoming a professional horse racer in Serbia. In that case, the only centers that would have averaged over 7 assists per game in a season would be Wilt Chamberlain and Domantas Sabonis. He'd be praised as the best passing center of all time. But we live in a reality where the greatest passing big man the NBA has ever seen happens to play in the same era as Sabonis. It's likely the reason why he's so underrated, but that shouldn't take anything away from what he's done this season, because Sabonis is doing something that even Jokic has never done.
You know, if you look up the word disrespected in the dictionary, chances are you'll see a picture of Domantas Sabonis.
Shooting 60% from the field is elite. Shooting 40% from 3 is also elite. So what happens when you put both together? Well, you get Domantas Sabonis. This season, he's shooting over 60% from the field and 40% from 3. This is psychotic because since the 3-point line was introduced, nobody has ever hit these averages in NBA history. In fact, only 6 players have even dared to attempt 1 3 per game when shooting 60% from the field. It's insane. I mean, I do understand that he's only shooting 1 3 per game. He's not Steph Curry shooting contested fall-away threes. Most of his shots are wide open at the top of the key. But the fact that it's never been done even among players who shoot a low volume from 3 is incredible. Prior to Sabonis, nobody's ever done 60-40 or 60-39. Jokic has hit 60-38 and 60-37 was accomplished last year by Sabonis. These are percentages that have only been reached by 2 eerily similar players. A couple weeks ago, I made a video about Jokic's incredible season, and I presented a graph of players' touches per game relative to their time of possession. Jokic was on his own planet as the NBA's ultimate offensive hub, but Sabonis was in his orbit. He's second in touches per game, but ranked 56th in time of possession. He might not get the credit he deserves, but Domantas is one of those hubs. Sacramento's entire offense revolves around him, and as a result, Sabonis has created scoring opportunities that wouldn't have been there otherwise. Points generated by assists is a metric that accounts for how many points were scored off an individual's assists. If we were to chart the top 50 playmakers in the league, it would look like this. There's Brunson, SGA, Trey, Luka, and at the top is Tyrese Halliburton, the most effective playmaker in the NBA. And below him is Nikola Jokic, who's created over 1,526 points for the Nuggets this season. And just 2 points above him is Domantas Sabonis. Making this type of impact while barely having the ball in your hands is unheard of. Sabonis is easily the most overlooked offensive weapon in the NBA, and I'm gonna illustrate just how great he's been. These are the top 100 players in the NBA regarding their offensive win shares relative to their usage percentage. Terrence Mann and Paul Reed are so low that they should be immediately Anthony Edwards and Bam Adebayo have similar offensive win shares despite their discrepancy in usage percentage. And Jaylen Brown has been utilized a lot, but hasn't made the greatest offensive impact. LeBron, Steph, and Zion have all produced great offense for their teams with similar usage rates. The same goes for Tatum and Booker, who are at damn near the same spot. And over there is Booker's father. He's generating plenty of offense while being used a lot. Jokic is all the way up here despite being ranked 21st in usage percentage. And our boy finds himself over here. Sabonis has made the 4th greatest offensive impact in the NBA while being the 83rd most utilized player in the league. It's a similar usage rate to other teams' 3rd or even 4th options. And I'll tell you, he's making the most of it. Domantas Sabonis is easily the most underrated player in the NBA. It's just unfortunate that he's having a historic season while others are having even greater historical seasons. I'm not stating that he should be the MVP or be regarded as the best center in the league. I'm just saying that he deserves recognition for this one-of-one season that hasn't gotten anywhere near as much attention as it should. Sabonis is one of the best players in the NBA, and it's about time we give him his flowers.